They say that good things come to those who wait. And we waited well over 4 months for this goddamn train wreck of an event, but I'm not one to look a gift card in the cooling vent, and I am beyond excited to see who will come out on top this year. With 6 races spanning across 3 days, so that's a total of 2 qualifying sessions and 2 races a day. Who looks to be in the best position to run away with the championship, and who were the biggest losers at the end of the event? Keep watching for everything you need to know ahead of the 3rd and final esports event. Our story starts in Bahrain, where young Thomas Ronn should have started in Saudi, not Bahrain. Oh, sorry. I meant broken wings, broken dreams. The first race of the event starts in Saudi Arabia, with sharp, fast-flowing corners where any mistake can result in a broken front wing, or worse, a broken heart. With it being the opening race of the second event, everyone has had a lot of practice before they marched through that door. So much that veterans like Jarno Opmeer, Brandon Lee, and Nicholas Longuet are all knocked out in Q2, with only 300s separating the top 3. Freddie Rasmussen snatches away pole with a monstrous 125.348.
I guess I got lucky with the walls.
The race itself was absolutely thrilling. It was filled with side-by-side battles almost every lap. There's drama as early as lap 9 when the leaders pit for mediums from softs, a very aggressive strategy. The tires were not the only thing coming off of the cars though, as a front wing end plate flew off coming into the pit. Was it Alfie? Was it Barry? No, it was Barry Bormann who drove into Frederick's rear wing. Was it a mistake on Bormann's end, or a deliberate brake check by the Red Bull driver? What do you think? Just don't leave a comment though, I hate it when people do that. As the laps go by, Bormann is trying to cling on with a broken front wing, and this allows Rasmussen to run away with P1. While the midfield is being sliced through by the likes of Jarno and Fassi, the rookie proven to be an absolute joy to watch by setting up a double switchback for the 3rd position on the 23rd lap. And another one on the final lap of the race in the final corner on the defending world champion to take the last place on the podium. And this won't be the last time that we will hear from him. Ronn-Hard takes P2 and Rasmussen P1, a great heap of points for both. DNF from Alfie Butcher when he started from the 2nd row, absolutely disappointing. The VSC Incident. Tension is rising going into the 2nd race. With the points being spread so evenly, the pressure is on. Who can take advantage of the chaos and run away with a sizable lead while everyone is left behind fighting for scraps? Josh Irawu is one of those that pushed for the limit and found it. Nearly spinning into the tire barriers out of the 2nd corner, Rasmussen shows that he is once again the man to beat in qualifying. Venom invalidates his Q3 run, and Jarno didn't even manage to escape Q2. A disaster for the Mercedes boys in qualifying again. The race itself was full of drama. I've never seen anything as ludicrous as what happened on lap 14, when a VSC pulled onto the track because of a disconnected Lucas Blakely, which completely shattered those who decided to go for an early pit stop. Jarno Opmeer was absolutely fuming, so much that he left the sim rig after receiving a 10-second penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car.
I'm not sure who was in charge of this decision, but I think that person should never be allowed near any sports or esports events again.
In the meantime, the Haas boys come together to pull off a masterful strategy. While Alfie Butcher boxed under the virtual safety car, Ulas stayed out on track on a very old hards with a singular goal in mind: hold up the entire field while Alfie gets away in the 1st position. While Thomas Ronn-Hard finishes once again on the podium. The title fight this year is starting to look like it'll be a scrap between Ronn-Hard and Rasmussen. Or is it? Now, I'm not saying Ronn-Hard was a cheater, but there were several allegations made in this regard in the last year.
Very close to saying something.
And a lot of drivers were open about what they thought about Thomas Ronn-Hard on social media. Now, Thomas is still a very fast guy, and he went on to prove that around Bahrain, and for every subsequent qualifying session, be it in the wet or the dry, the man is rapid. However, that was before he got tapped around in Belgium into the bus stop chicane and failed to finish within the points for the last 3 races of the event. Will he have a breakthrough, or will the pressure break him? It remains to be seen going into the 3rd and last event of the Esports series. Longuet In Tears. Thomas Ronn-Hard would not be the only one who would succumb to their emotions on stage. Nicolas Longuet is another driver who had a tough pill to swallow.
Longuet also going to Inters but did not look happy about it.
After a strong 1-2 qualifying from the Ferrari drivers, they dove right into the race with an ingenious plan. One person was to hold up the entire pack, while the other one would drive into the sunset as to create a big enough of a gap for when they would inevitably pit later on. However, a glitch as it seems caused the game to give Longuet intermediates instead of the slicks that he had selected going into the pits. He tried his best to push on and to remain optimistic, but it was just not his day. Ultimately, he finished way behind everyone out of the points. After a disappointing qualifying performance around Saudi Arabia and Zandvoort,
Opmeer is out of Q2 again!
And an even bigger disaster in Austria, Jarno was on the prowl, putting in a monster lap around one of his worst tracks, arguably, on the calendar. A stellar performance from the Flying Dutchman. However, since voicing one's disagreement with the stewards is considered to be unsportsmanlike, Jarno Opmeer has been given a 3-grid penalty, which makes him start in 4th instead of pole position. This is Mercedes' home turf, and the track is, I believe, the only one on the calendar that is front limited. Most people opt for the safe hard to medium strategy, while all the front runners decide to go for the aggressive soft medium, which has been a theme so far in many races. And Jarno is the only one who is leading the charge with a medium soft strategy. When Jarno would finally come into the pits, he would come out in P11, and in all my years, I have never seen traffic being carved through as fast as Jarno did in this race. Jarno is just another level in race trim. While he moved through the field, Rasmussen, on the same strategy as Opmeer, was stacked behind Barry for more than a lap and a half. Blakely, in the same vein, went for an over-optimistic move and tumbled down the order in the process. Not everyone can do what the Flying Dutchman does. The Great Dane-Sty. Winning 3 of the last 6 races. That is absolutely insane at this level of competition, where missing a single apex in qualifying can drop you down 10 grid positions. After Saudi, Zandvoort, and Austin, Rasmussen is at the top of the charts and looking to run away with this year's trophy. Ronn-Hard doesn't look too far behind Barry and Jarno. Only a few points behind Jarno Opmeer. These 3 look to be the only threat that the Great Dane will have to face going into the 3rd and final event. Surprisingly, Blakely, the current defending world champion, is sitting in P5. I wouldn't rule him out just yet, but as it stands, he needs a serious miracle if he wants to challenge the title fight. For now, the Great Dane is going back into cryo sleep ahead of the 3rd event, as he needs to recharge his computer systems ahead of the 3rd and final event.